Oh, they'll be calling you a radical. So me and my grandsons were just talking. I said, we got to go to watch Rashid play this year, because I think he's going to have the big breakout year, because the new, even bigger than his other two breakout years with the Saints, because of the new kickoff rule. So I always forget to talk about some of these old players here at Weber State, because nobody knows the history around here at Weber State. I do. And so Rashid Shaheed's not the first superstar from Weber State to play for the New Orleans Saints. I always forget about this, because I always talk about Pollard. Well, not enough I don't talk about Pollard. He played here, played for the Saints, had a hell of a career in the NFL. But probably the most accomplished NFL player in the history of Weber State football played for the Saints. His name was Bob Pollard. Is Bob Pollard. I'm pretty sure he's still kicking. He's in the New Orleans Saints Hall of Fame. So I don't talk enough about him and these players in that era, because, boy, I remember those teams in the late 60s. Oh, yeah, I remember those teams. They were badass. So I was just thinking about that, because the schedule came out, and we were just looking at over to see, who the Saints are going to get, and see if we can get close enough to go watch Rashid play. So that team, our Slaney in the 70s, they were something else. Oh, they were good. And they put all kinds of players in the NFL, including Lee White. And how about Owens, who played at Ogden High? How about my old boss, Bruce Hanley, Ogden High? What's his name? The dude from Sweden that played for the Cowboys that was involved in the Dwayne Thomas trade. There was a whole bunch of teams in that, players in that late 60s who went on to the NFL. And, well, Alfred Papunu had a great NFL career. Really a great NFL career. I don't know why his name's not up there. And so did Darryl Pollard. But the greatest NFL career so far in the history of Weber State football, Wildcat Morris? Maybe. Yeah, who's that? He's from here. You're going way back. Yeah. Is Bob Pollard. So I want to make sure Rashid gets this and knows this. So, somebody's got to do the dirty work around here. And I always do. I remember being in the end zone right there when they played Maine. Rashid on the field. I'm full of cancer. They're begging me to do it. I said, I ain't doing it. They're like, come on, you got to do it. I ain't doing it. I'm fighting cancer. You think they put us in the press booth? Can't even say. No, they stuck us right up there in the end zone at a night game, and it was so cold. Oh, I could hardly feel anything. Weber got upset by Maine. Rashid on the field that day, but Rashid was a superstar here. Will he go on to be is Rashid Shaheed the greatest player ever played on this field for Weber State football? I think so. I thought that when he played here. And before that, I always Trevon Smith. Oh my God, those teams were good. So while I'm talking, so we got Dillon Jones in the combine this weekend, right? That's coming right up tomorrow. So Dillon Jones going in the combine tomorrow. But I wanted to get this up. Those are the greatest teams in the history of Weber State football right there. Oh yeah. They won 4 Big Sky championships in a row. So the greatest player in NFL history that played here, I don't talk about him enough. And I was thinking about it today, and I'm like, dumbass. I'm thinking, didn't he play for the Saints way back in the day? And I'm like, oh my God. Yeah. And then I started recalling. I got a lot going on in my head all the time. You know, I do a lot of work. Having health issues, oh God, it never ends with me. So, you know, I would open heart surgery again this year. So, having some freaking blood pressure issues. So, anyway, I'll get it handled. It's always something with me. Fuck. So, I was thinking today about that football team with McBride in 2007, 2008 with Trevon Smith. Fuck, he was a badass football player. Oh my God, he was a great football player. You know, Rashid, Shaheed, Jonah Williams. These fucking idiots drive through here like that. Do it at the D Event Center too. So, now will TJ pass him? So it's Bob Pollard or Teron Johnson. Teron Johnson's knocking on that door to be the greatest NFL player so far in the history of Weber State. But so I just was Googling around. I'm like, but you got to remember, I don't think people remember, especially when it comes to basketball. You get caught up in these stats. They didn't keep stats back in those days. You know, there weren't sack records, just like triple-double records. They didn't do triple-doubles. I mean, come on. Fuck. Oh, first player to get a quadruple-double. Fuck. Will Chamberlain would probably have 50 of them. Fuck. If you went back and went retro, which is easy to do, it's kind of like Maravich with three-point line. Del Brown says he did it. He says he would have scored average 44 a fucking game. How many triple-doubles do you think Will Chamberlain fucking had? And quadruples. Fuck. When you average 50 points in one season. So, Dillon at the Combine tomorrow. So, let me talk about this. I'll tag this because I want Rashid to know this. You know, the only interview you're going to get around here of Rashid when he was playing here, quality one, is mine with him. I knew what he was. Nobody else fucking did. Paid attention to him. Even his own coaches. You know, as great as Jay Hill was, of course, Jay Hill was the defensive guy. So, Teron Johnson, oh, fuck. Forget about it. That dude's so good. Well, highest paid nickelback in the league. But as far as the career goes, Bob Pollard, Daryl Pollard, oh, yeah, what a great player in the NFL. Owens, who just died, he grew up right over there. Ogden High, and then, of course, Hanley, Lee White. God, why can't I remember his name? But I remember them days. I used to go to those games with my dad. Look, it was fun. It's still fun. Weber State football, oh, fuck. That's kept secret. They'll be good this year. They got freaking those great. They got two really great running backs. They keep them healthy. You know, thanks to come here. Sharp looks sharp. Wide receiver. We'll see. So anyway, back to basketball. I want to get this up before the combine starts. Now let's talk about Dillon. So Dillon Jones, Lillard, the postseason blues, Damian Lillard. Now, when Damian Lillard was tearing it up, he didn't really break out and go, fuck. I remember his freshman year. I knew what he was. Fuck, he was awesome right off the fucking get. Heavily recruited. Heavily. I saw his game tapes because, you know, I watched him with Randy. But it was this scene. Oh, here comes the wind. Oh, what the hell? Weather's nuts around here. We've had snow all week. Yeah, all week here in May. Couldn't get enough for 10 years, and now we can't turn it off. So, Lillard was NBA material from the get. He had the breakout year in 2011, 2012. Now, those incredible games he had, like against University of Utah here, where he put up all those points, I didn't get to see any of those games. I listened to him on the radio with the great Carl Arkin. He used to call him the great name. I was dying. I was given a death sentence in October, right before the season started. 2011, I got hit by the freight train. I was in the LDS EJ bone marrow transplant going in and out of a coma. I missed it all. I got to see the Arlington games. I came out, could walk about. It's the only home game I got to see. Live with a nurse, walking like I said with Eddie Tillman. I weighed 119 pounds. I don't know how I didn't die. I remember that game down at Cal, in those games, I was listening to him on the radio, But you saw Lillard start to break out in a big, big way. That's last year, 2011, 2012. I didn't get to see those games live. You know, those are his best games. I saw the Arlington, and the Arlington game was so marquee because it was such a great opponent. It was a bracket baster, and he played so solid. But it was him and Bamforth, him and Scotty Bamforth and Kyle Tresnick. What a fucking team! But not Montana had that great team that year too, with Will Cherry, his old nemesis. You know, I still don't believe that second half in that championship game. Well, I don't believe the second half in either championship games against Montana. Anthony Johnson passed away, but Lillard just started. So nobody was talking Lillard. They were talking, and then they started talking maybe early in the year. I knew what he was a fuck. I remember being in Wendover his sophomore year, and the guys are, oh, fuck, we're going to bet the Jazz. I said, what the fuck you bet the Jazz? We got an NBA player playing for Weber State named Dillon. Ooh, whoa, ooh. Jimmer. So he started to break out. But Dillon Jones is different than Lillard. Very different. When Dillon Jones got here, I've known him since he was a freshman. I was going back and forth saying he was doing all my type of work, and I saw the knockout game, and I run into him right at the Stewart Library. And we talked. Oh, he had a lot of confidence. He was a confident. Well, come on, they're college athletes, all these young guys. We all do at that age. But he, did I know he was an NBA type of player? No. Not when he's I knew Lillard right off getting not on Dillon. Dillon, I liked him, and I thought he was good. But we have lots of good players that come through here. It's incredible the athletes that come through this university. They'll blow your mind. Basketball and football. I mean, really blow your mind. So his second year, because it was COVID 2020, and it was all about Jerry Carty. Jerry Carty I still say Jerry Carty's the greatest fucking talent in the history of this school, basketball-wise. And that's, as far as up here on the hill. Now, down at the old Weber State, you're talking Walt Misaka, who won 2 national, first player of color in the history of NBA, and Byron Scott's dad, Alan Holmes. Fuck, what a player. But that was down at the old gym on 25th Street. And so, in the day. So, that's before my time. And so, in my life, it's Jerry Carty. Fuck, Jerry Carty blew my mind. How he tears it up in he's just that good. That fucking good. And everybody says, oh, he was too short. What are you talking about, too short to play in the NBA? He turned down an NBA contract. He was player of the fucking year. By the way, Will Cherry, fuck, I think he's still tearing it up in fucking Europe. Fuck goes crazy. And so, Lillard never got to play in the NCAA tournament. Neither Dillon Jones. But Dillon, it was COVID year, 2020. So his second year, I'm watching him. He's getting better, He's growing mentally. And remember, Dillon Jones, I remember standing with Dillon. This is between a sophomore and junior year. I'm over there. We're at the purple-white game. And we're out there talking. He says, hold on, Kev, I got to check my grades. He's looking, and I'm like, he says, you want to see? Yeah. I'm like, oh, I heard that. You're one of those. What do you mean one of those? What do you think? I says, you're one of 4. You think maybe you think too much? 4-0. That's him. He's a 4-0. I think he's up for the Arthur Ashe Award. I don't know if he won it. But he's one of those. I don't know if he pulled off the 4-0, but I think he got damn close to it. I mean, if he didn't get a 4-0, he got a 3.999. So, and he's down to earth. He's compassionate. People, people fucking love Lillard here. Lillard's like a god here. Rightfully so. But Dillon's a different type of guy. And, people love him. So, between that year, I started to watch him grow that sophomore year, and he's getting better and better. And then it was not till that junior year. It was that junior year when I was like, whoa. And it was partway through. I was doing the play-by-play in his freshman year for KWCR. And it's kind of like Rashid. I knew Rashid right off the fucking get. Day one, the first game, I'm like, look the fuck at this fucking guy go. And then just progressively, it was the speed. As I call him, Lightning Rashid. But Dillon, so it was that junior year my light started going part way, and I started telling people, this guy might end up being NBA this year. And everybody's like, nah. And I'm like, I think so, man. I think they're going to grab him this year. I was the only one saying that beside the old man. Old man Freeze was saying it too. Old man freeze was all over it. He always is. Fuck, he's 96. He talks about Alan Holmes. He'll tell you that's how he became a Weaver State fan. He says, Jack Carter wouldn't play him. He said, that's when I said to hell with the University of Utah. Started being a Weaver State guy. He says, I said, what year was that? He told me it was 1958, 59. So, last year, Dillon gets scratched in. Let's look at this. Dillon gets scratched into the combine. Damian Lillard. I tell Dillon all the time, you got one guy to thank for all the attention on you. You know, and of course what he did this year, Damian Lillard. He says, oh yeah, no doubt. And so, he was the best player in the entire combine. He would have been a late first-round pick last year. I thought for sure he'd go. And he didn't. Now, remember, he's old school. He didn't transfer. He could have transferred anywhere he wanted. He stayed here all 4 years. 4-0 fucking student. I remember when I had my heart attack and my open heart surgery his junior year, and I come out, and I finally came out of the hospital. I'd listen to those on the radio, and I'd walk out. The first time I come in, I could barely stand. He walked all the way across, up the thing, and he come over there, and he says, God, Kev, Clouky told me about Jesus. I've been praying for you. Look at this one come. Holy shit, where did that come? That is whoa! Holy cow! This weather is psycho, man. I've never seen anything like it ever. Not this time. Holy shit! Never predicted that. So anyway, oh my God, we're finishing in here. So, well, my man Blanch. So, my favorite football player ever played here, Trevon Smith. Oh yeah, until Rashid came along. You know, and Rashid's my favorite. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You know, I've got to know so many of these guys. Of course, I really like, you know, there's a bunch of these players I really like. So, Dillon Jones, at the Combine Tour, he was going to be a late first rounder. So, we'll see, but I kept telling you everything. Because these players and coaches tell me, Dillon's not going to the Combine. I'm like, bullshit. This was a couple months ago. He's going to the Combine. You know, well, he ain't skipping it. They ain't going to let him do that. I mean, they want to see this. You know, and Lillard stock just flew up exactly this time. So Dillon's always picking my brain. He's Kevin, you know, and I'm always saying, no, wait. The scouts, we knew what Lillard was from the beginning. He was NBA material. He was NBA material in high school. People don't, and he started at Weaver State as a freshman right off the get, just a couple games in, and just him and Bamforth and Kyle Tresnick and oh my God, that team was so good. And, you know, the other thing I got to talk about, too, is the thing that pisses me off is Montana beat them up there, that power second half, and then Montana goes into the tournament and relays a fucking egg. That's what they always do. You know, the Big Sky, except since 99, I'm like, if Lillard would have won either one of those games, it was fluky as hell. And Montana goes in the tournament just late. Get blown the fuck out. I think we would have been high as a 10 or 11 seed because they'd won so many games in a row, and they won the bracket buster game against a really good Texas Arlington team. I mean, that was a great game. It's the only game I got to see him that year live. The only one. Because I was in a bone marrow transplant dying of cancer. So, I mean, the similarities. I mean, these passes. And then my heart from the chemo. I had open heart surgery in 2017, as you know. And I had it again, you know, during Christmas time. So I missed a bunch of Dillon's games his junior year. But last year in the combines when and he scratched in because of Lillard, because of a hurt player, and he just tore it up. The thing about Dillon Jones, and I've noticed, and nobody knows more than me, go ask him. Dillon Jones plays better the better the competition. He plays up to the... And when St. Thomas and him, that's Dillon Jones's career best game. And I still say he had the triple-double. You know, he went crazy in that game. Career high points, you know, assists, steals. I mean, that was against one great player. That St. Thomas kid is a great player. That was about the best player in the Big Sky. That's when he had his best game. So he plays up to competition. Well, we saw that last year in the Combine. That's not opinion. That's just fact. So we'll see how the Combine goes this year. But I keep telling Dillon, I think you're going to be just like Damian. There was a talk about Damian Lillard being a second-round pick or a late, and then it started talking about late first-round. But then all of a sudden, right at the end, right now, it went, oh, Damian Lillard's moved up to 15 in some slots. 10. He goes 6. I always said if he would have won either one of those games, got to go to the show, to the tournament, I really believe he'd have been that guy, or 2. You know, and who knows? I mean, so he's got the postseason blues going again. That's just bad luck. I mean, injuries. Look, how about those? Oh, my God. Those. How about the Thunder? Holy cow. Well, I'm rooting for the Timberwolves. So I like Gobert, but God, they're doing without him. They haven't lost yet, have they? No. Out of nowhere. It's a different league now. So I think that he will go way up there. We'll see how the Combine goes the next couple days. We'll all be watching. I'm excited for it. Really excited for it. I mean, he's my favorite player. Yeah, no doubt. He's my favorite player in the history of Weber State basketball. That's saying a lot. You know, do I think he's the greatest player? Well, up here on the hill in my lifetime. Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. And so we'll see. And I wanted to get this up because I always forget to talk about some of these players in the 1960s that played at Weber State. You know, and these people here, they don't know. They don't know. There's been a lot of good NFL players, but the best NFL careers in the history of Weber State football, Wildcat Morris way back, we're talking the 1920s, 30s of that, but Darryl Pollard, yeah, for the 49ers. Remember him in the Super Bowl? I mean, I remember when he freaking got Elway, got the ring. I think he's got 2 rings. Played on those great, and those were great teams. And then Alfred, remember his pineapple? Of course, I was just thinking about Winston Reed. You know, he's with the Browns. He got a contract, and then, you know, here we go full circle because Maxwell Anderson's got an invite for the 49ers. He reminds me of TJ. So we got the best NFL careers ever. Papuno, yeah. Teron Johnson, we'll see with Jonah Williams. We'll see with Mr. Opeta. We'll see with Rashid Shaheed. The best NFL career in the history of Weber State football is Bob Pollard. He's in the Saints Hall of Fame. People don't even know who he is. I'm pretty sure he's still alive. And I remember these teams in the 60s when he played up here. Of course, we all loved Lee White. You know, he played in the NFL. And so I wanted to get this up because I was thinking about it. You know, get them both. All these. It blows my mind over the last decade. The athletes that have come through Weber State since, since the great 2011 era, since I got cancer. And I've been stuck here. I'm connected to that hospital literally with the hip. It's been a crazy, crazy journey. Really a crazy journey. Got a pacemaker now. But I was given 2 months to live in 2011. So, I mean, it's quite the deal. So, I want to make sure Rashid knows this. That's what I'll tag it. So, probably the 2 best players we're ever going to have. And we'll see with Rashid as time goes on. Teron Johnson with the Bills, you know, he might be the greatest player now. But I think it's Bob Pollard's in the Saints Hall of Fame. And he was a sack machine. The best player I ever saw on this field play, the sack machine, personally with my eyes, Rashid Shaheed, yeah, the best. Trevon, Trevon Smith, Oh, fuck, he was a badass. Oh, my God, he was a badass, Trevon Smith. But it's Rashid. But the best defensive player I ever saw on this team, on this field in my life, and that's saying a lot, TJ. Oh, fuck, he was badass. Maxwell Anderson, Winston Reed, all these great players. That's no doubt in my mind. That'd be Adam Rodriguez, sack machine. Now, I don't know how many sacks, because I don't think they even kept stats back in those days, but there's people say that he might be the all-time sack leader in the history of the Saints. So I wanted to get this up. Go Rashid. We'll see if we can get to a game this year and watch him with this new kickoff record be something. And then, of course, we're rooting for Dillon. I still say he's going top 10. You know, all year I've been saying 6, 5, 7, 6, 5, 7. I still say it. I says, I don't want to hear any shit from any. And the scouts were just lined up. They were all there. I've never seen so many scouts ever. And at football, too. I've never seen scouts like this. They're finally waking up. Of course, you know, Winston Reed. But so go Dillon the next few days. Go Dillon. So I wanted to get this up because nobody knows the history around here, and nobody really talks about it. So, and I'm a fool to do your dirty work. But I made the best of a bad situation. Given 2 months to live with AML leukemia in 2011. You know, the biologist blackballed. I mean, literally blackballed. Fuck, who ain't blackballed? We take on the nuclear energy crime syndicate. What's the name of the stadium? Now, who's she? Oh, I'm getting it. Yeah. Take on the nuclear industry. See where you get around here. All right. Stand tuned. Bob Pollard. The greatest NFL career in the history we ever saw. Yeah. He's in the Saints Hall of Fame. We'll see if the Saints, if Rashid can pass him. Stand tuned.